Welcome to stage 7 of the Telefonica Dakar 2005. We go from Zurich into the first marathon stage. It's going to be a difficult stage today. Even the professional riders and drivers are going to find it very hard, let alone the amateurs. Kenjiro Shinazuka, another big accident. He's out. Well, before we even started today, the dunes really got underway yesterday, 24 Many of the riders finding it nigh on impossible. Clive Town from the UK struggling a little, whilst others nearly crested the dune, but just lost out at the top. Not the first, not the last. The difficult thing about when you get your bike stuck in the dune is to not dig it out. You've got to rock it onto its side, let the sand fall through the machine, and then get it back on its wheels. If anything is easier said than done, it's that. The trucks, they may be heavier, but they just seem to glide over the top. Other people got over the top and then were very lucky to get away with more greater consequences. David Schwartz from Australia, the teammate of Andy Caldicott, struggling, but he's still in the rally. Other people nearly going end over end. But then, of course, the gentleman's agreement sign of a helmet at the top of a dune saying that there is a car the other side. Here we have Etienne Vulit. He's asking our cameraman if he's seen my brother, my frère. Where is my brother? He's number 174. But another crew has managed to find his brother, Francois. The medical crew's helping him back on the bike, but that's still 160, 170 kilograms, if not more, of motorbike, and he travels about 3 meters and says, enough, it's over, I can't go on. He waits by the side of the stage for the broom wagon to arrive. That's the truck organised by the Dakar organisers to literally sweep people up. He says, the worst thing is that my brother continues ahead of me without my support. It's not the end of the world though, it's only a rally. Seems more than that at times. On board with Chris Lades from the Netherlands in his Bowler Wildcat. Keeping the revs high, keeping those wheels spinning.
Crazy. Okay, Dakar is Dakar.
Robbie Gordon rolled 4 times yesterday in one nearly very, very big accident. He had to wait in the stage for his service truck to come and collect him. It was a long wait.
I prefer that it was finished. This finish, but it's not finished.
Back on board with Chris Lades with the Bowler Wildcat. There's Hiroshi Mashioka, 2-time victor of the Dakar speeding past. He started quite a way behind the amateur drivers and the pro Mitsubishi drivers speeding through, whilst Robbie Gordon, well, he was still waiting. This motorcycle rider saying to our cameraman, I've stopped because I want a cigarette. Robbie Gordon eventually arrived into Zurich late last night, pushed by one of the Volkswagen service trucks. He lost 8 hours, he's now 101st overall. Ari Vatanen had a long day too. He arrived 7 hours 50 minutes back, 99th overall. And then just as dinner started, there was a fire in the bivouac last night, a stray electrical spark lit by a piece of lighting. The tinder dry surroundings went up, and in a moment, things were gone. Fortunately, nobody was hurt, only by the grace of God. The briefing was held a little later, and Dakar boss Etienne Levine quite rightly praising the ultra-professional job of the catering staff to have food being served within an hour of the fire. Today's stage, out of Zurat towards Tchit, a short road section, and then the biggie, 660 kilometers, count them all. Parc Fermé immediately after the stage finish, no service trucks allowed this evening into Tchit. The landscape gets more and more barren as we approach central and then southern Mauritania. Sandstorms this morning, in fact sandstorms all the way through today's stage for everybody on the 27th running of the Dakar. Overnight leader Cyril Desprez led off, but it was Fabrizio Mioni who was fortunate to still be in the rally after those tyre problems yesterday when he was victorious on the stage, but 24 hours ago. Here he is riding with Palander's Oliver Setter. Remember, he's the 2004 World Cup Rally Raid champion. The Norwegian in green, having a good day though. Oliver Setter coming home in 7th position on the stage today and 7th in the overall standings. Many of the front-running motorcycle riders riding all together on the stage, staying together, making up time. They're all starting 2 minutes apart from each other, not starting 20 abreast as was originally written before the stage got underway. Here's Mioni in the middle of the stage. Now he's saying, I'm surely going to get penalised because I was out of the corridor that's within the stage. That's 3 kilometres either side of the centre line, and the organisers made that rule for the Dakar. I think I've strayed a little too far, maybe strayed a little further than this escaping desert fox. Well, who would be the foxy one of all the riders? Who would be the sly one out there on the stage? The answer is, it was David Frétenier who rocked up the winner of today's stage, the Yamaha 450cc rider, winning today's stage some 3.5 minutes ahead of eventually Marc Coma. Now Frétenier started quite a bit back, and all he could do was make up time on these other riders. The other front-running riders all running together on the stage, which meant that they really couldn't break away from each other. If somebody tried to go, well, the others were there. Frétenier being victorious on today's stage from Marc Coma in 2nd place. Cyril Desprez was 3rd today, some 5 minutes and 20 seconds back. He has now lost the overall lead on the Dakar to actually Marc Coma. Coma leads overall from Cyril Desprez. There is a tie, a tie for 4th position with Alfie Cox and Andy Caldicott, the South African, whose birthday it is today. 5 minutes and 39 seconds back, tying 4th overall with the Australian Caldicott. Chris Blaise from America, 10th overall after today's stage, but a very, very difficult stage for everybody. Alfie Cox, the birthday boy today, he soon got on the phone once he got back to the finish to wife Hazel and son Bradley. Here we are at another refueling stop. Cyril Desprez saying there must be some mistake. I've got to take only 20 litres of fuel, and that's really not going to be enough. We've still got 260 clicks to go to the end of the stage. In very soft sand, the consumption, the fuel consumption, is going to be about 50 litres per 100 clicks. We just can't get to the finish on only 20 litres. Now here's another big crash. One of the motorcycles being actually lifted up and out of the stage by one of the official helicopters. That's one way of getting out. KTM Red Bull squad of Scott Harden, Callan Walsh and Chris Blaise soldiering on. Here we have Chris Blaise, as I said, 10th in the overall standings, which for a rookie and a youngster is just unbelievable. Well done, Chris. Andy Caldicott keeping in touch, keeping his 4th position overall with a 5th position on the stage today. The last 200 kilometres was just camel grass, camel grass, camel grass. In fact, it was about 260 kilometres. It took them 4 hours to do the last 260 clicks. First gear, second gear, third gear, second gear, first gear, up and down the box, up and down the box. It was a killer, but it was number 12, the Yamaha Motor France entry of David Frétigné, French enduro hero and a man with total motorcycle control, lightning reactions, and this is the kind of terrain that really does suit not only Frétigné but the lighter, more nimble 450 Yam. He's 6th overall. That's his 3rd stage victory in 2005. Frétigné leads overall. Problems for one of the official vehicles, as you can see, stuck in the sand. Already had problems. The sand, ironically, a little moist out here in this part of Mauritania. A little bit of rain, and they go down. It's going to be a difficult day for the latter runners, but Frétigné was the quickest of them all to be ahead on the stage of Coma, Dupre, Cox and Andy Caldicott. Overall, Coma takes that overall lead by just a smidgen, 16 seconds ahead of Dupre, Caldicott, Cox, the birthday boy and Mioni. 6th is Frétigné, Oliver Setter, Puyol, Sala and Kellen Walsh. The victor of today's stage from France, David Frétigné, saying today very, very difficult. So much camel grass. It was difficult to do the race really quickly. It's also so hard to be quick on the stage, so hard physically as well. Nothing is so difficult as camel grass. Again and again and again. In the end, I just want to see it simply just go to hell. All day long, I was with the others, such as Caldicott, Esteve, Puyol, Sala, etc. I asked myself how I was going to break away from them. I felt pretty good physically. I drank a lot of water, and then I said to myself, right, go flat out, flat chat. We'll see what will happen. And then they arrived just behind me just now. Beat them by about 7 minutes. Good day.
It was very tough, so much sand today, and lucky with the navigation was very easy because it was just about a straight line and I had the other marks to follow, so navigation was no problem, but it was very tough, and then all the camel grass at the end just made it very difficult.
Yeah, it's been a real day of the Dakar for sure. I think today a lot of guys are going to spend some time in the night coming out.
What was the most difficult bit behind you?
Just the camel grass. I mean, it hasn't stopped all day. 600 kilometers non-stop.
Why is camel grass so difficult?
Just there's no rhythm. Up, down, you can't go. Second, third gear, first gear, second, third gear, flying in the air. Sorry.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bah voilà, 9h30 de moto.
Cyril Dupre saying 9.5 hours of riding on the bike. It's exactly as if you've been training in the gym non-stop. 9 hours. Very, very physical. The Volant Dakar is part of the Dakar for the very first time. It's a way of finding the next Schlessers, the next Better Hansels. Organised by former victor Patrick Zanaroli, 11 French teams went to the Alps for the final, where the victor would walk away with the keys to a completely funded drive on this year's event. Eventually, the prize was won. The keys to a Bowler Wildcat, a hell of a prize as well. Guilain Chicheret and George Marquet. He says to be selected for the Dakar is just incredible. A fantastic adventure, human and sporting. For us, it's just enormous. The team then travelled to the UK to test the car. Winning driver Chichier is not unknown to top-level international sport, though. He was a two-time extreme skiing world champion. The Dakar must feel like a pure drive to the shops after he previously went down to the shops like this.
I
don't know about driving on the sand, but I'd imagine it similar to the snow. You've got to understand the ground, whether or not it's hard or soft. Just as with snow, it's the same approach. I've spent a great deal of time in the snow, so I like to think I've got some idea about soft conditions. Chichiret and his co-driver have actually been driving in the French Rally Championship as well, so race conditions not unfamiliar to them. French Rally Championship, of course, producing names in the past such as Didier Auriol, Sarbi, Chatrio, Panizzi and Stéphane Sarrazin in 2004. Over a rally weekend, he says, we do about 120 kilometres a day, maybe 400 kilometres over a race weekend, but here, well, we're going to do 600 kilometres in a day. Just a little different. George Marquez is young, but he has had some co-driving experience before, making it another strength to the team. He knows the kind of level involved to get the notes exactly right. He says if there is a heading to make, you've got to make your own decisions. The one who finds the best route, the one who finds the best way over the dunes will get lost. Maybe. We've got to lose the least amount of time. My work is to give the best indications, to get over the problems. I'm confident, very confident, for this year's events.
J'ai confiance en mon pilote.
Ça tombe bien, j'ai confiance en lui.
Ça devrait faire.
Ok, ben bonne soirée alors.
Merci. Bientôt. Bon, on va manger quand même.
Allez, on va manger.
Today's stage started with the official checking the spare wheels. Why? Well, no outside service allowed on today's stage. It has meant that you can carry as many tyres as you like, but you're not allowed to get any tyres from...
Wife keeping you busy, stuck in the traffic, or out on a business lunch, and you want the latest cricket updates? Well, just call 083 900 4000. The Supersport Budget Cricket Hotline, always keeping you in the picture.
Today's stage for the cars started with the officials checking all of the wheels, both on the car and carried as spares in the back of the car. Why? Well, it's the first marathon stage on this year's Dakar, and that means that as soon as the cars get to the finish, they are put into parc fermé. Nobody is allowed external assistance, and this official is saying that you put the cars into parc fermé. You can change tyres between vehicles, Mitsubishi teammates between Mitsubishi teammates, but you're not allowed to get outside assistance, so you are on your own. The overall leader starting today's stage, Bruno Sarbi, former European rally champion and Dakar champion, of course, started today's stage, as did Kenjiro Shinazuka, yet another former victor of the Dakar. But look at that sand, it's just a little damp. Very, very difficult after just a splattering of rain out there on the stage. It has meant that it's just a little clammy, and that caused problems for Shinazuka. Another biggie has befallen the Japanese driver. He went end over end, the car completely destroyed, and as he had a couple of years ago a big accident, he's pretty lucky to get away with this one. He says, I feel very, very sick about this accident. I'm very also worried about my co-driver Pascal Maimont. He's had a big bang on his chest, quite winded. Co-driver Maimont saying, I'm worried for Shino. He's had a couple of big accidents now on the Dakar.
On laissait la bagarre devant parce que de toute façon on savait qu'on pouvait pas lutter et on pouvait qu'espérer des abandons dans les voitures de tête ou des sorties de route comme il y a eu hier.
We'll see. Shinazuka Long way home to Japan from here. Another accident befalling him. Right then, here we have the Volkswagen and the BMW X-Raid X5 machine of Nasser Al-Attiyah. Here's Jean-Louis Schlesser. He ran into problems today. My goodness me, not a good day at all. He said at the beginning of the stage that it really was the stage for him. He was going to try and attack right from early on, but it didn't work. Schlesser running into problems with a rear wheel bearing, the whole upright causing problems for the two-time Dakar victor, and he is still in the stage. Schlesser stopped at kilometre 243 at the Galawaya crossing, and Schlesser still in the stage, waiting for his service crew. He's preferring to wait for his service crew before the camel grass starts, and it gets really, really difficult. My goodness me, if it was difficult after these scenes, what was it like? Nasser Al-Attiyah, what a dark horse of the 2005 Dakar, soldiering on well with the X5. The X5, of course, as a machine, the 2004 World Cup champion car, with Khalifa being victorious. He's not driving in this year's event, as we see Schlesser discussing what he's going to do, co-driver looking at the rear wheel problem, and as he then continues, if he hadn't got as many problems at this point, he then got lost, nearly taking out that bike. The Volkswagen's continuing on. Bruno Sabi stuck in the sand after these pictures were taken just after the second control point. Jutta Kleinschmidt looking to be victorious on today's stage as we speak at the moment. She's not far out of the bivouac here in Tchit, but still yet to arrive. Janelle de Villiers, now the leading lights for the Nissan Works squad. Colin McRae crashing out of the event 24 hours ago. Ari Vatanen as good as some 8 hours behind. Gregoire de Mavius and Carlos Souza went hand in hand through the stage yesterday, going safely through at the moment. Souza at the point of this broadcast only 40 kilometres away from Tchit. Here's Luc Alphonse running into problems, stuck in the sand. Luc Alphonse, the former French downhill ski champion and international skiing hero, running into problems but soon getting going before he arrived here this evening at Tchit. Stefan Pederhansel having a good run through the stage today. Well, that's how it looked at least. Will Stefan Pederhansel be leading this rally overall this evening? Check Dakar.com for the latest results on the internet, the World Wide Web, bringing you real-time results of the 27th running of the Dakar. Hiroshi Masuoka lost time a few days ago. He damaged the front of his Mitsubishi early on in the stage, but fortunately it didn't look to be too bad. Stefan Pederhansel here, together with Andrea Meyer, continuing on. Andrea Meyer really the water carrier for the rest of the Works Mitsubishi squad that continue to be strong. Today, at the start of the truck stage, Vladimir Chigin led the truck section overall. Gerard de Roy trying to recover from his problems of a couple of days ago. He could only try and claw his way back up the overall standings, having started a some 4 hours back of Chigin, the leader, this morning. Problems, though, continued in the De Roy camp. Father Jan, only an hour and a half back of the overall leader, ran into problems on today's stage into Tichit, but he managed to get going soon after those problems appeared. So Chigin leading into today's stage ahead of Kabirov and Andrei de Azevedo. Former truck leader Hans Becks still in touch in 4th position. So is former truck Dakar victor Karel Loprace and Stacey from Holland. Top 6 starting today's stage within 50 minutes of each other. And today being a real hard stage, anything can happen. Tomorrow's stage takes us into stage 8. We go from Tichit to Tajika. Normally we've been doing this route in the reverse direction in years past. It's going to be some 520 kilometers in length. And if they thought today was difficult, well, tomorrow is going to be even harder. How can that be? Well, join us tomorrow and find out.